In this tutorial, we're going to go through and we're going to build a weapon rack. So I have some reference here. Let's pop this guy open. These are different example images of weapon racks. We previously made shields and we made swords, and we're going to place our weapons that we made onto weapon racks just like this. So we're going to handle this differently. We're not going to go ahead and just build this all as a one-off object. What we're going to do is actually build the little parts that make it up. All right, so I have a number of different options here, but what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on this one right here. So you can see it has this large beam that's kind of square and then is tall, and then you have like a very, like a thin, long beam, and then we're going to actually put little pegs in to put our weapons so our swords can kind of hang on them. There isn't one here, so that's an element we're going to add. All right, so we'll need something cylindrical, almost like the shaft of these spears that's here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come over here and start by making some of our pieces. So the first thing inside 3ds Max is, let's go ahead and let's save our new Max file that we're in here. And I'm going to make a folder called Wood Elements, right, which I previously already made. I'm going to go in there and just name my file Wood Elements. I'm going to do _01 because I may want to save more than one version of it. All right, now let's make perspective active. Here in Create, I'm going to go to Box, and under Keyboard Entry, I'm going to enter a value of length 25, width 25, and height 100. I'm going to hit Create, and I'm going to hit Z to zoom out. All right, first off, that's much too small, so let's change that. I'm going to make this actually 200 units tall, and then zoom out. And then I think it's still too thick, so let's I'm in Create where I'm changing these values. I'm going to change the length to 12.5, 12.5, and hit Tab, and then change the width to 12.5. There we go. So I think this will be good. I'm going to leave that one there. Let's come up to Default Shading and hit Edged Faces. So let's right-click on this model, and I'm going to say Clone as a copy and say OK. Switch to Move. I'm just going to move this over to the side a little bit. So I have my large thick beam here. Now I need the thinner beam that's on the side. So let's just change which one? Okay, cool. I want to change. I'm just clicking and holding on the spinners to adjust it dynamically. I want to change this to 2.5. There we go. So now I have my tall beam, I have my thin board, and I just need one more thing, and that would be sort of the dowel, kind of the round piece. So let's just come in here, and we're going to make sure perspective is active. We're going to go to Cylinder, and under Keyboard Entry, we're going to give it a radius. Let's say a radius for a height of 200, and then change the number of sides under parameters to 8, and then let's hit Create. There we go. So I'm just going to right-click, say Move, and just move this over to the side. It's a lot thicker than I want, so let's change that up. So let's change the radius to 2.5. Let's do 1.25. All right, there you go. I think that'll be good. I like these shapes that I have for my different pieces here. So let's click here in the corner, and actually no, I want to leave all 4 viewports like this. All right, I'm going to select my primary beam, right-click on it, and say Convert to Edit Poly. And there's some things I want to do here to these meshes before I get started. So first thing, I'm just going to attach them all together because I want to make a couple modeling adjustments to them. After I've finished making my modeling adjustments, then I'm going to UV unwrap them. So right-click to get out of Attach. And so let's just go into Edge Mode. Then here in the front, or I'm sorry, the left view, I'm going to region select this top portion. So I click and negative space up here, and I drag Right, and I'm grabbing all of these edges. I'm going to hold Alt, and in the bottom I'm going to click and drag, because I just want to get all those edges that make up the top. So I'm zooming in here in perspective. So you can see I have all these edges here at the top selected, and I'm just going to come into chamfer. I'm going to click, actually cancel that. I'm just going to instead go to polygon, and let's switch to select object, not select to move. I'm going to click on this one polygon here, and then over here under edit poly in the selection rollout, I'm going to click on edge, and I'm going to click on chamfer, the settings dialog next to it, and I want to set the value of the chamfer to 0.25, but then I want to change the connect edge segments, right? You see how you can increase those? I actually want that at 0. Right. So just want to have a very simple edge there. And I'm going to click OK. And then we'll just come down here to the bottom. It's easier to just click on one edge and go to orbit down here and then orbit around, because it'll orbit around what you have currently selected. Now I can switch to polygon, click on this one polygon at the bottom and hit Z to zoom in on it. So again, now I can hold Control on my keyboard and click on edge, and that'll grab all those edges, and I can just open the chamfer settings again and just click OK, because once I've set those settings, they're set accurately. Now I can go into element and click on this and do auto smooth, and it'll go ahead and assign smoothing groups. And actually, I don't like how it did that. I'm just going to clear them all and just assign them all one smoothing group. There we go, because I did chamfer the edges. All right. So now, when I made these boxes, right, for the other objects, I got rid of the individual segments in the center of them. So what I can do with these two is just region select to basically select all those elements and hold Control and click edge. And now I'm just going to come over here and click chamfer. And it's going to it's still going to have that same value, which is exactly what I want. And so I'm going to click OK. Now I have all those edges chamfered. And I can click on my element, click on my models, clear all, and just assign one smoothing group to everything. There we go. So now that we've done that, we could go into, you could also, if you region select them, you could auto smooth. It's still going to basically give you the same results. All right. So now we've kind of prepped the wood pieces. Let's go through and let's UV unwrap them. All right. So I'm going to put an unwrap UVW on. I'm going to click open UV editor. And I'm going to go to options, preferences, and turn off that selection preview. Say OK. And then I'm going to turn off show active map in dialog. And then I can hit pack custom, and it'll kind of pack those different chunks. You can see how wildly crazy everything is inside here. It's all packed in, it's all weird shapes. So really we need to start with kind of a clean base. So I'm actually going to remove this edit poly. I'm going to put a UVW map on, and I'm going to change the alignment to Y, click fit, and then I'm going to make sure the value is the same for length and width. I'm going to put a value of 200. Now I right click and convert down edit poly to make that change permanent. Now I can go in here, and if I put in an unwrap UVW on now and say open UV editor, bring this back over, it's on my secondary viewport. I'm going to turn off that active map and dialog, options, preferences, and turn off selection preview. Say OK. Now you can see here's my meshes. So in Polygon, I'm just going to region select everything and then hold Alt, and here down in lower negative space, click and drag. Because remember, I just want the tops and bottoms selected, and that's it. Now, it looks like I have more, but that's only because it just has the bounding box on. If I just hit under peel, hit the quick peel, you'll see it's going to peel those pieces off, right? And in classic Max 2023 fashion, it's going to put them at weird angles. So we have to manually go in and rotate them so that they are going to pack in better. There we go. Just arrange everything. And now we just need to click, we need to select edges in order to define them for seams. So let's, under default shading here, turn on edged faces. I'm going to go ahead down bottom right corner, maximize this viewport. I'm just going to turn on my edit seams. I'm going to scroll in here with my middle mouse button and just click on an edge. There we go. And I've kind of defined this edge now. That's where my seam's going to be. And I can do the same thing here with the cylindrical one, but what I'm doing is I'm just holding my middle mouse button to kind of pan down as I go, as I'm defining the seam that's going to connect with an existing UV map seam. So I can turn this off now. If I turn on element and region select and grab those pieces, I can peel those. Let's grab the cylinder once again. Oops. Forgot I had element turned on. I'll turn that off. Grab the cylinder and rotate that, and then we can just pack custom again. And everything should be pretty much the right size. We could always, it's not a bad habit to open up relax, to switch to polygon angles and hit apply. There we go. So now everything's kind of packed in here. We can see all of our different elements. Let's do something though. Let's turn element back on, grab all this, rotate it, and move it over here. And let's grab the whole thing and let's just make it fill the entire space. We'll do a 2:1 aspect ratio. Zoom in here on the bottom. There we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to right click and say convert to editable poly, and we can call this wood elements, and at this point let's open up our material editor, and I'm going to bring over a standard legacy. Let's make sure your meshes are selected and you are not in any sub-object. It helps to go to Create Panel. And then you can right-click on your new material and assign it. We'll just call this wood. All right, and now we can take our meshes, put an extra edit poly on here, and just say File, Export Selected. And we'll navigate to our wood elements folder. Wood elements _ LP. Hit save, and because we previously had exported all the settings, we're just going to keep those and we'll click OK. All right, so I'm going to pause it now and open up Substance Painter.